My name is Jennifer Christie.
Up until 4.5 years ago, sign language interpreter Jennifer Christie was a wife and mother of 4. But Christie's life underwent a radical change one January winter.
I'm here tonight to represent the 32,000 women a year who become pregnant after rape, and the 75% of us who give our children life.
As she testifies and shares publicly today, Jennifer Christie is a survivor of and mother from rape.
As hard as it is to talk about, can you share with us what happened? Take us back to January of 2014.
Okay. So I've shared this a lot, and it has not gotten easier. Okay.
Jennifer tells us she was staying at a hotel alone while traveling for work. On the last day of her 2-week trip, her job let out early because of snowfall. She went back to her hotel.
I walked up to my room and didn't know that I was being followed. I couldn't hear anything. It was very windy, and I had my scarf up and all that. And I got my door open, and I dropped everything on the floor and turned around to close my door, and there was a man in my doorway. I thought, with the weather, I thought maybe his car broke down, or maybe he needed to use my phone or something, and all this kind of went through my mind in like a second. And then he kind of gave me a strange smile and punched me in the head.
Jennifer tried to fight as the man proceeded to assault and rape her. She eventually passed out. Jennifer then awoke to a woman's scream when she discovered she was wearing only a scrap of clothing and laying outside in a stairwell near the dumpster.
But I remember trying to move and realizing that I was very hurt. And I tried to pick myself up, and I looked at my hands, and there was blood on them, and my nails were all cracked and broken, and I just remembered fighting.
Jennifer was taken to the hospital and treated for fractured ribs, broken fingers, a brain bleed, and severe internal damage. She's since undergone multiple surgeries. As a few weeks passed and her body began to heal, Jennifer and her husband decided she'd move forward with work to keep herself preoccupied. She left for a business trip on a cruise when she got very sick.
One of the head doctors came in to me, and she said, we're going to need to give you an IV. Is there any chance you could be pregnant?
Christie immediately thought no. Her husband had a vasectomy.
And then I stopped, and I thought, and for the first time out loud, I said, I was raped, and it's just an ugly, ugly word. And I just had this feeling in my stomach, and I said, you might want to test me.
The pregnancy test was positive, so the cruise ship made an emergency stop in Colombia for an ultrasound.
On that screen, I saw this tiny little pea, and this was the darkest time in my life, and I, for the first time since the assault, looking at that little dot on the screen, I just felt something come alive in me again. And I felt hope and joy and light. And I remember thinking, okay, I couldn't protect myself. I fought and I tried, but there was nothing I could do, but I could protect that baby. And it was my baby.
And when you told your husband, how did he respond to the news?
I called him and I said, "Are you sitting down?" And he said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm pregnant." And there was just a second of silence, and he said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, what? Okay, like what is, I need more from you, okay, expand." And he said, "Sweetheart," he said, "this is a gift." He said, this is something beautiful. It's from something so painful and terrible for us." He said, "We love babies." And I said, yeah, we love babies. And he said, "We can do this."
With a supportive husband by her side, Jennifer welcomed a son into the world. Now, her very youngest, as she calls him, is an integral part of the family.
He is just this bright spot. He's just joy and laughter and silliness, as he's 3 now, so which they happen to be, but even when he was a baby, he was just nothing but, big dimpled smiles and all kinds of joy, and the kids just adore him.
I asked Jennifer, a devout Christian, how her faith in God has held up throughout the journey these past 4 years.
When I tell my story, people who are not believers will say, "Well, where was your God when that happened?" And where was your God then? And And I think my God was all over that. My God was all over my story. My God was in the fact that I was being dragged away from the scene and would probably be killed, and someone stepped in and interrupted me being dragged away, and my life was spared. My God was in the fact that I was left in the snow, which controlled the swelling in my brain, and I'm still here. My God was in the fact that I have this child who people would consider, something horrific, but has been such a joy and kept me going, gave me a reason to want to press on.
Jennifer, we hear often, even from people who identify as pro-life, this excuse for abortions in the cases of rape. People who make this exception, saying it's not fair for the mother. This child would be a reminder of the trauma of rape. But Jennifer, what's been your experience?
Not that at all. I feel like a broken record saying my son is healing, but I can't imagine getting through the last few years without him, without having his light and his life to look forward to. I've never looked at him and seen anything but him. What we're going to be able to tell our son one day is that none of us would be the people that we are today without you.